Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends. Specifically, welcome to a video on the Magic Stones Island. Now, I know I haven't made a video previously to this video. I've been kind of busy, I haven't even participated in the event. As you can see, I'm barely on the third node, I guess they're nodes, and I'm not doing so well. I don't even care for completing the event because I can't really get anything. But assuming you guys have actually had the chance to participate in this island, this progressive island, and you got the 155 magic stones needed to buy a chest, well, this video is for you guys. And even if it's not, like, maybe you just want to know some information, because I'm going to be talking about the 4 different monsters available. So right now, during this progressive island, if you go to the chest shop, you can get either 110 stake cells, 110 copycat cells, Itzanami cells, or Toshiro cells. All 4 of which I would say are pretty good monsters, some being better than others, each monster being unique, one being a support, one being a deny, 2 of them being attackers. And we also have a good range of elements, right? We have water, thunder, earth, and another thunder. Also, this video might help you because we have the Chaos Fortress Maze going on, and during this event there are 2 really good thunder and water monsters. So hopefully this video helps you figure out which monster you can get. Now, what I do want to know from all of you guys who did participate in this progressive island is how difficult was this island? Because from my experience, I don't think it was that impossible. I don't think that many gems had to have been spent, especially if you were free to play. The way I see it, you could have quickly passed the 5 magic stones and the 15 magic stones, like, yeah, maybe gem that a little, and then 30, 45, and 60 should have been available, and you would have needed to complete through the 5th progression to get 155 magic stones. I think there was actually another chest, let me see if it's still on there, where you can get food. Yeah, there is, the magic stones food chest, that's what I'm gonna be getting. Oh, I don't even have enough. But yeah, this is probably what I would get. You know what? Maybe I should complete that final progression I'm on just to get the food. But anyhow, with that being said, let's jump over to Wiki and let's just talk about the monsters. Actually, I want to go in order, so let's see who is first. We'll start with talking about Steak. Alright, so I'm on monsterwiki.com, and so here is Steak. Power 3685, life 34683, speed 3454. He is one of the stronger attackers in the game, one of the stronger water attackers. His trait is tough, meaning that he has a 35% chance to not get hit with any negative effects. He can hold a mask relic, and he can also hold the trap relic, which I think are really deadly relics when put together. The mask can allow you to either boost your strength, it could also drain a lot of enemy stamina. You could also have the healing mask, which recovers your strength. There's so many great uses for the mask relic. As for the trap, the oblation trap is one of the more popular traps. If the enemy attacks you and your HP drops below 50%, you'll drain the enemy's stamina. If you have a healing mask and an oblation trap, even if you do fall below 50%, the healing mask will kick in and recover you above 50%. So great synergy there. Overall, really great relic slots for this monster. In terms of the role, this Monster Wiki categorizes this monster as an attacker, and yes, that is quite evident, especially with his extremely high 3685 power. Scrolling down, his ultimate attack, let's start with that. Very heavy special damage to all enemies and Mega Freeze. That is a phenomenal ultimate attack, especially for an attacker, because not only does this deal massive damage, it'll also deny the enemy monsters for 2 full turns. Moving over to skills group 1, let's see if we have anything too noteworthy. Forced Exhaustion removes all negative effects from itself, 1 extra turn to itself. A really great skill to have. It costs no stamina. You never know when something like this can come in handy, especially now currently in the game when there's just so much that can happen, right? Every single monster can apply 2 negative effects, 2 torture skills, 2 deny skills. Having something like Forced Exhaustion could really come in handy. You know, there's some monsters that will even start with the status caster against your team. There's a monster that can apply Ignition to the enemy team. There's a monster that applies Shock to the enemy team at the start of the battle. So having a skill like Forced Exhaustion could really come in handy. Moving on, we have, let's see, Damage Boost and Precision. This might be worth running just for the simple fact that if you look through all of your monster skills, they're mostly water-based. So sometimes when you're facing another water-based monster, you need a special base attack, so that way you can deal, that way your damage isn't reduced. So the cool thing about this, even though it's only 40 damage, it does give you damage boost and increased accuracy, meaning you'll be dealing 50% more damage on your following attacks, and you're going to have increased accuracy, so you won't be missing. This skill is also spammable, so it makes you foolproof to any skill that activates your cooldown. 4-Stroke Fangs is a spammable 50 damage water-based bleeding skill. Scalding Stream is AoE bleeding. This skill isn't worth it because just wait to skills group 3. Alright, Revolution Increase deals heavy water damage to one enemy, but this one gives you double damage. So, in my personal opinion, if choosing between these two, if you absolutely have to choose between like one of these two, I would just go with a special base attack just to have it, because keep in mind, Revolution Increase, this will only deal 25 damage against a water-based monster, whereas this one is 40, and yeah, even though you get double damage from this one you also get that increased accuracy. Also keep in mind though, you don't really have to worry about your accuracy being reduced with daze or sunburn because you do have force exhaustion that you can run with. Also in the current meta of Monster Legends, we can swap skills without having to worry. So, you know, if you're ever in a situation where you're not battling water monsters, you don't even need rotation. But then again, rotation is spammable, whereas Revolution Increase isn't. So it's just stuff to keep in mind. 2-Stroke Fangs, this is where it's at. 75 damage, 25 stamina on a 1 turn cooldown. You can literally start the game with this skill, probably OTK the enemy. On turn 2, give yourself an extra turn, remove any negative effect that you may have, and OTK another enemy with 2-Stroke Fangs. It only costs 25 stamina. This is extremely powerful. Must have skill right here, 2-Stroke Fangs. And then Broiling Refrigeration, deals heavy water damage to all enemies, applies bleeding to all enemies. 50 water-based AoE, that is extremely powerful. It goes without saying that this is by far one of the stronger water attackers in the game. One of the most powerful attackers, just definitely. 50 damage AoE, 75 damage single, an extra turn skill that removes negative effects, and then you can give yourself increased accuracy and a damage boost. You can give yourself damage, double damage. He is a phenomenally strong monster. Once again, he can hold the mask and he can hold the trap, and he has really great power stat. If you are in need of an extremely powerful water attacker, Stake might be your go-to monster. Next up we have Copycat, and oh my goodness, I really wish I could have participated in this event because till this day I do not have Copycat and I still want this monster. Power 3432, life 29,255, speed 3465. This used to be the go-to speed, but now it's been significantly outclassed. But that's not to say that this monster himself has been outclassed. I would say he's still one of the more powerful thunder monsters in the whole entire game. For his trait, he is hardened and he cannot be possessed. And funny thing about Copycat, the reason his name is Copycat is because he literally copies a lot of other monsters, and you're going to see that with the skills. For his relic slots, he can hold a sword and a staff, which is an odd combination. I don't usually see this. Normally, the sword goes to an attacker, and then the staff goes to more deniers and support monsters. So, interesting combination. You can definitely pull off some cool things with this. With the sword, you can still use like a Jakugan sword. Considering he has deny, you can use one of the golden swords, or maybe even the silver swords. There's some swords that can remove enemy stamina if they are possessed. There are some swords that can give you a shield if they're stunned or frozen. There's a lot to work with this monster. As for the staff, you don't really have to worry about getting your stamina drained because there is a regeneration staff. If you have King of Atlantis, it'll recover your stamina. If you're below a certain amount of stamina, you can do the drainer staff to drain enemy stamina after you do an AoE on them. So lots of things you can do with Copycat. Let's just scroll down to that ultimate. Look familiar. Massive special damage to all enemies, 9 million volt. Honestly, this is a terrible ultimate for Copycat. Sorry Copycat, but it's true. Moving on, Rock Mace. Ugly cut 6-inch punches. Sound familiar, right? I believe this is what? Rock Antium. This is... Darn it, I had it. Ugly... Is it Nishant? No, maybe it might be Nishant. 6 inches punch. This is Pandakin. Stun and Burning. Yeah, Nightmares. I'm pretty sure that might be General Nishant. Rock Mace being Rock Antium. Vada Magma with Magma Trap. AoE Burning. Semi-loop damage. That's Timeron. Elders and Dragons. This is the Kihaku skill, why Kihaku is so famous for that possession and freeze. This skill is still very significant, especially in a world where monsters have hardened and tough. Elders and Dragons, at least something will land. Semi-loop damage applies skill mirror to itself. Would have really loved this was a team skill. It's nice that it costs no stamina, but it is only a self-skill. Moving on, 15k volt, hey Voltic! So this gives you an extra turn and it deals a little bit of damage. Extra turn skills are always nice. Start Lord, I forgot. I think this might be his own skill, or maybe even a Timeron copy. Deals moderate thunder damage, applies another skill mirror to itself. So he has 2 skill mirror skills. And then this is what he's probably most famous for. Cuppy Implosion. Deals low spell damage to all enemies, applies 2 random control skills to all enemies. This is the Zyron Copycat. So basically, you have a poor man's Zyron. You can apply stun, mega stun, possession, 2-turn possession, freeze. Oh, I don't see Mega Freeze on here. That's interesting, but I'm assuming it would also include Mega Freeze. Yeah, I'm assuming this just isn't updated because back when Copycat was released, Mega Freeze maybe wasn't released. But yeah, poor man's Zyron. If you don't have Zyron the Ruby, get yourself a Copycat. Overall, I would say he is still a very good Thunder Denier. If you're in need of any Denier or a Thunder Denier specifically, get yourself a Copycat. You know, Voltar is available in the maze. And up next is Itzanami, power 3322, life 34985, and has extremely fast speed of 3586. This monster, she's immune to stun and immune to bleed. She can hold a mask and an amulet relic, 2 really great slots. With that being said, what is this monster? I don't really see her a lot too often. Well, let's find out. deals massive earth damage to one enemy, applies nanovirus and quicksand to all enemies. So you're gonna deal some massive damage to a single enemy and apply negative effects to everyone. Nanovirus prevents the enemies from applying positive effects, which I think in the current meta of Monster Legends is extremely powerful, considering every single monster has a skill that applies positive effects to themselves. It's just, there's no getting around it. So nanovirus in the current meta, moving forward, I think is going to be extremely valuable. But overall, the ultimate, not too impressive. Let's see skills group 1. Applies reverse healing to all allies and to all enemies. Very interesting. I haven't seen much skills like this. Like, who comes to mind? One of the VIP monsters, if you guys are familiar with Nox the Condemned. Total Obliteration deals damage to the enemy and to yourself. I would like to see more of this in the game. Very interesting reverse healing, because if you apply this to the enemy monsters, and then when you take in relics like the healing amulet that restores HP once you fall below 50%, that could end up working against them and killing them. So there's some great synergy that can be used with skills like this. This one, however, I'm not the biggest fan of. Let's see, single days, or no, 50% chance to days, 50% chance to nanovirus, spammable, nope. Let's see, days, nanovirus, and remove good effects to a single enemy. That's good, but could be better if it was AoE. Trade disable on a single enemy monster. Trade disable is also very, very, very needed, especially when facing War Masters and a lot of these new generation monsters that have crazy, crazy traits. But let's keep going. Deals heavy earth damage to an enemy, applies days to awe. Days to awe, that's it? Let's see, curse, removes positive, okay, this one's great. Removes positive effects from all enemies, applies nanovirus to all enemies. Once again, especially when facing like an Elvira, a Ragnarok that does a random status caster. Just a lot of monsters, if you're facing a Remtar that can do skill mirror at the start of the battle, you, first of all, removing good effects, so bye-bye skill mirror, bye-bye evasion, bye-bye whatever positive effect you may have, and hello nanovirus. So, for example, if you're facing Remtar, he has a skill that can give his team skill mirror again, not with nanovirus. He has a skill that can give a 33% shield, a 50% shield, not with nanovirus. So that is a great skill. And then the last one, deals moderate special damage, applies trait disable, and AoE trait disable. So overall, I like these two skills, and that's pretty much it. AoE days, I guess, is nice. Single trait disable, yeah, but yeah, this monster, I guess, is more of a support monster. I'm not the biggest fan of this monster. Yeah, this is a monster, I think, with the other options available, Stake, Copycat, and Toshiro, even if you need an earth monster, I think you can kind of do without Itzanami and just focus on one of the other three. And with that said, that brings us to our final monster, Toshiro. Power 3619, life 36795, speed 3465. Overall, really great stats, a really high life, and as for his trait, he is hardened and he has status caster. Applies, and this is a unique one, applies thunder immunity at the start of the battle. And as for his slots, he can hold double armor, making him an extremely tanky monster, extremely tough to kill. So Toshiro, he is an attacker. And let's see, breathe, prepare, and slice. Deals massive thunder damage to enemies, applies shock and guard down. Shock prevents extra turn skills, they prevent extra transfer skills, or turn transfer skills, my bad. And guard down makes it so your attacks always land. So great ultimate for an attacker. 70 damage and being able to prevent those kinds of things and making sure your future attacks always land is really great. Shock, especially when facing Voltic and Zyla, obviously, considering he's a thunder monster. And other Toshiros, I should also say. But just like every single monster, or just even what you've seen from Copycat had an extra turn skill, Stake even had an extra turn skill. Just about every single monster, almost the new generation, has some sort of extra turn skill or some sort of transfer skill. So Shock, I think moving forward in the meta is going to be extremely powerful. But with that being said, let's see, 30 damage, Shock, damage boost, nah, let's keep going. Justice of the Elders. Low special damage to one enemy, applies thunder weakness to all enemies, gives one extra turn. See, there's that extra turn right there. So this skill is not that powerful at all. But what this skill is a setup skill. First of all, it costs no stamina, so you'd be able to use it with no negative repercussion to you. It just deals 30 damage and thunder weakness. So your thunder-based attacks are going to be 50% stronger. And take a look at skills group 3, all thunder-based attacks. But we'll get into those in a little bit. One Against Many is a 40 damage special-based AoE on a 1-turn cooldown. That is powerful. Honorable Protection applies damage mirror and taunt to itself, requires cooldown, 100% damage reflection, and taunt. So all the attacks are going to be attracted towards you, and you're going to reflect 100% of the damage. Also keep in mind, you can give yourself double armor, so that in itself can be a strategy. Get Toshiro to get a turn, give him the taunt, give him the damage mirror, and he can tank a bunch of hits with armor and just reflect it all back. But scrolling down, we have Samurai's Pledge, removes all negative stats effects from itself, extremely valuable. Applies life regen, 20% life regen, and an immediate extra turn. So that's basically an automatic 20% heal, plus 2 more turns of regen, and no negative effects. No torture effect, no sunburn, no blind, no none of that. That is incredible. So this monster has 2 extra turn skills, and let's move on. Shocking Dance deals very heavy thunder damage to one enemy, applies shock to all enemies. You have yourself an AoE shock, even though it's a single target. And then what I'm most excited about, Cannon of Toshiro. 60 damage. It is a steep 40 stamina cost, but it is spammable. Even cooldowns activated can't touch you. So if you do Justice of the Elders on turn 1, that's 30 damage, and assuming you attack the same monster, Cannon Toshiro is going to be 50% stronger, so it's going to be 90 damage. So 90 and the 30, that is 120 damage to a single enemy monster. That monster is going to be knocked out. So it goes without saying, and by the way, you don't have to attack the same monster, because keep in mind the Thunder weakness is applied to everyone. So you can just attack whoever you need to attack, and then, like, if you can OTK someone with Cannon Toshiro, go for it. And yeah, overall, I would say an extremely great monster. For me, it really depends on what you need. In the Thunder category, it's a little tough because you have, like, if you need a Thunder attacker, you could go for Toshiro. If you need a Thunder denier, you can go for Copycat. If you just need any Thunder monster, it depends on you, right? Do you want Copycat? Do you want Toshiro? Once again, keep in mind, Voltar is currently available in the maze. So do you have enough coins to get Voltar? What if you need a water monster? Again, you can get Hukuai from the maze, or their Stake if you need an attacker. So it's tough. In my personal opinion, I would rank them as, I'll start from last. Itzanami, do not get her. In my personal opinion, she would be 4th on my list. And then honestly, it's kind of like a 3-way tie. Although if I had to absolutely break it down, I would say, sorry Stake, you're awesome and all, but I'm going to put you 3rd on my list, just because although I do need a water attacker, I'm fine with my water deniers right now, so I don't really need you. And I would say the same for people. Like, with water monsters, it's always nice to have a water attacker, but the water category is great with denial, so just make sure you have denial first. So with that being said, going to the Thunder category, oh my goodness. So I think it's tough, because a lot of people are like, if you have Voltic or Xyla, you're fine. To be completely honest, from my personal experience, I never get a chance to use Voltic or Xyla anymore, because every time there's a Team Wars, there's always a Marquise on defense. There is always a Faraday on defense, and there's no time to use those monsters that rely on low damage and just infinite number of turns. So Xyla and Voltic, they have really lost their usability. I never place them on defense anymore. Heck, I don't even use Charmless on defense anymore, once again, because I know there's a Marquise, I know there's a Faraday. So, and even if it's not them, there's a Necromancer, there's a Ragnarok. So extra turn monsters have really lost their competitive edge. So with that being said, I think what I still like about Toshiro is that, yes, he has extra turn skills, but he doesn't rely on them. Cannon Toshiro, 60 thunder base damage. In terms of Thunder attacker, I really like Toshiro. I think I'm also planning on getting Voltar. Voltar is a denier. He has AoE possession, I believe. I have to rewatch my own videos. By the way, be sure to check those videos out on Voltar and Hukai from the current maze. Yeah, I think the water one is an attacker, and Voltar is an AoE possessor in the Thunder category. So yeah, even if you need a Thunder attacker, Toshiro might be your guy. So yeah, you have to decide who you're going for in the maze, and then that might be able to help you out who you're getting in the Magic Stones Island. But if I had to absolutely pick, I love you, Toshiro, you're awesome, but I think I'd go with Copycat as my #1 choice, just because he is still the poor man's Ruby. His Copy Implosion is still a very deadly, powerful attack. 2 random control skills, that is amazing. And then even on the next turn, you can still do Eldritch and Dragons to try to apply even more stuff. And he himself has an extra turn skill. So I like that he also has Torture Effect. And then Start Load, the Skill Mirror could come in handy. But yeah, I think I would personally recommend Copycat. And then it's like Toshiro, then Stake, then Itzanami. But even like ignoring the fact that I'm going for Voltar in the maze, just Toshiro and Copycat for me, that's what it went down to. So I don't know. With that being said, that has been my like mini analysis / observation of this maze. I want to know from you guys, who are you going for? Maybe you didn't participate in this event, but if you did, who would you go for and why? And for those of you that did participate in this event, how difficult was it? How many gems did you have to spend, or will you be spending towards the end of today when the event is over? Please let me know all the answers to all those questions in the comments below. It was very nice to make a video again. I'm back, I'm alive. So with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.